Experimental whodunit game based on the latest AI technology to generate dialogue in real time.
Absolutely.
No way they're actually gonna
Yes.
talk to me.
Pascal.
Like Facade. No, Facade's not AI. I mean, I guess you could make some kind of argument that it's like pseudo-AI, but not really. Type here or speak into your microphone. Okay, I have to fucking try this. Okay.
The second I stepped off the train into the city of vaudeville, I could...
Oh, I did not think that would skip it. Shit. Well, too late now. Ray tracing activated. Hey, can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Oh. Hey. Hey, can you hear me? Oh.
Well, what's the point of being rich and living in vaudeville if we can't have a little fun and mischief? Don't
What?
worry, I'll cheer up soon enough.
I just said hey. Why are you trauma dumping? How do I speak to you? With my voice. I wonder if she says this every time. Oh wait, press F1.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure I understand the prompt.
Wait, what's happening?
Could you please clarify or provide more context?
What if she says this every time? A white press F1 time? Oh, Jesus, wait, now it's hearing me. I'm white press F1 time. That's not what I said. Scratch. Scratch. How do I undo? Oh boy. This is going south. Okay. Reset. Let's get some information now. Now it's working. Good evening, Miss Potter.
Oh, hello there. I'm afraid I'm not feeling quite myself today. But don't you worry, I'll bounce back soon enough. Life's too short to stay down for long, wouldn't you say?
I concur, Miss Potter. What's got you down this evening?
Oh, just the usual, dear. The weight of my wealth and status can get a bit heavy at times. But there's nothing that can't be cured with a bit of shopping or a nice dinner party. And maybe a little mischief on the side, if you catch my drift.
I understand, Miss Potter. Prostitution is a viable career for a young lady your age, but I don't think it's morally acceptable.
Prostitution, you say? How quaint. No, my darling. The only profession that interests me is heiress. And as for my sadness, well, it's not like me to dwell on such things. A few glasses of bubbly and some good company, and all will be forgotten.
Yes, let sleeping dogs lie. The past is the past. But what do you know about the murder in vaudeville, Miss Potter?
Murder? My, how thrilling. I must admit, I do have a certain fascination with the darker side of life. But no, I'm afraid I don't know anything about the murders in vaudeville. Although, I have heard some rumors about Monsieur Saxabar and a secretive project. But you didn't hear that from me, of course.
What is Monsieur Saxabar known for, exactly?
Well, dear, I'm not sure if I should be telling you this, but let's just say that Monsieur Saxabar is known for his interesting hobbies. Some say he dabbles in the occult, while others claim he's involved in some rather unsavory business dealings. But like I said, it's all just hearsay.
Have you ever used a Ouija board, Miss Potter?
A Ouija board? My goodness, no, I much prefer more hands-on methods of communication with the other side. But I suppose that's not something a respectable lady like myself should be discussing in public.
Have you ever seen a grown man naked?
I must say, dear, that's quite an inappropriate question. In any case, I don't see how that has anything to do with the current topic at hand. If you don't mind, let's try to keep this conversation on track, shall we?
I concur, Miss Potter. It was a reference to a classic film. I don't want you getting the wrong impression about me as a detective.
My, such an interesting line of questioning. It almost seems like you're trying to distract me from something, doesn't it? But don't worry, darling. You can't ruffle my feathers that easily. After all, when you've been through what I have, you learn to take things in stride.
Who's that gentleman behind us, Miss Potter? Oh, I see. When I right mouse click, it takes me... Nope, no it doesn't. Oh god, Miss Potter, disregard everything I'm about to say. I'm speaking to the voices in my head. Don't answer any of this. Miss Potter, you make me sick. I'm just going to say it. I don't think you're as innocent as you claim to be, and you're at the top of my list of prime suspects in the murder of Miss Vaudeville. Or the murder in Vaudeville, Miss Potter. You harlot.
Ah, how disappointing. Here I was, hoping for a bit of entertainment, and all I'm met with is baseless accusations and hurtful words. But I suppose that's just the way of the world, isn't it? People are always so eager to point fingers and assign blame without ever stopping to consider the full picture. But don't worry, dear. I'm not one to be easily deterred. In fact, I'm quite looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. Who knows what kind of mischief we might uncover along the way.
Oh, boo fucking who, Miss Potter? Little wambulance crying about cancel culture per usual. I've had enough of your antics, Miss Potter. I'm going to go visit Monsieur Saxabar now. Good day.
Well, how terribly rude of him. But I must say, it's not often that I come across such a lack of decorum.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know what I'm trying to solve, so I'm having a hard time figuring out what questions I should be asking. I'm gonna go find Monsieur Saxabar now. Where would he be? Probably at the Circus Saxabar would be my guess. That's probably where he resides. Yeah, I accidentally skipped the intro, so I don't know what happened. I'm assuming it's a murder. I will say, this is far more impressive than I thought it would be. Especially for a game that's so poorly reviewed from only like 9 players ever. I thought the AI would be extremely primitive, but it's actually responding moderately well to what I'm saying. Good evening, Monsieur Saxabar.
It's actually pronounced Monsieur, not Monster.
I didn't say monster.
But hello.
I said Monsieur.
I'm sorry. I don't understand the relevance of that statement.
I didn't
Could you
say
please
that.
clarify?
Enough fiddling around in the weeds, Monsieur Saxabar. Are you familiar with the murder that just happened in Vaudeville this evening?
Yes, I'm aware of the murders.
And do you have anything to say about them?
No, not really.
A cornucopia of valuable insight, Mr. Saxabar. I have on good authority that you are not exactly clean in these murders. Where were you on the night of the first slaying?
I'm sorry, but I cannot answer that question. As I said before, only Chief Gretzky and the police have the authority to formally accuse anyone.
I'm working with the police. And what is this about Chief Gretzky?
That's great.
Didn't realize I was dealing with a lobotomite. Monsieur Saxabar, are you aware it's a crime to lie to a detective?
I have nothing to hide, detective. But as a law-abiding citizen, I can't say anything without the presence of my lawyer.
How can I get in contact with your lawyer, Saxabar?
You can't.
And why is that?
Because my lawyer is unavailable at the moment.
What is he doing at the moment?
Excuse me, but what do my current activities have to do with the investigation?
I had a frog in my throat. I meant to ask, what is your lawyer doing that makes him unavailable at the moment?
My lawyer is currently out of town.
On what business?
Sorry, detective, but as far as I know, it's none of your business.
What do you do for a living, Monsieur Saxabar?
As stated earlier, I am a lion tamer and the director of Circus Saxabar.
Are you aware that a couple years ago it was outlawed to use animals in the circus? I could have this entire operation shut down.
What?
You heard me. Don't play dumb.
That's news to me, detective. But let me assure you that we do not use any animals in our circus that are not treated with the utmost care and respect.
Then you wouldn't have a problem if I questioned one of the lions you tamed, would you?
be my guest, but I doubt the lion will be able to hold a conversation with you.
You're a tough nut to crack, Saxabar. I'll give you that.
Thank you, detective.
Not a
I pride
compliment.
myself on my resilience and self-assuredness.
I actually think it's a negative quality, to be honest. You're not cooperating with our investigation. You're making it very difficult to get information on these murders of two innocent people.
Well, detective, it's not my job to make your investigation easy. If you have any real evidence or questions to ask me, then let's hear them. Otherwise, please do not waste any more of my time.
I see when I'm beaten. Excellent work, Saxabar. I'll get out of your hair now.
Alright then.
I just got fucking giga-chatted. What in the fuck was that? What AI was that? That was like War Games. I couldn't get through to him at all. I got cooked. Jesus Christ. Alright. Saxabar's, he's a tough foe. That's a silver-tongued devil. Alright, I need to know what, like, I don't even know what the situation is. Like, it's so hard. I wish I didn't skip the intro, but I'm in too deep now. Wow, Chief Gretzky, you look like death. What the fuck is this?
Well, Detective Martini, I don't feel like death. Is there anything in particular that gave you that impression?
Your ghoulish appearance. You're all skin and bones. When's the last time you ate a full meal, Gretzky?
I'm not sure if my appearance really concerns you, but I assure you that I eat regularly. Now, what brings you here, Detective?
What
Do
the
you have any new information on the case?
What the fuck do you eat, Gretzky? Like little cheese crumbs like a rat? Like, my god. This is disgusting. You make me sick, Gretzky.
Detective, it seems like you're making assumptions about my eating habits based on my physical appearance. However, if you have relevant news about the ongoing investigation, please share it with me.
What is the case? Can you break down the basics of the situation we're dealing with, Chief Gretzky?
Of course, the situation is quite serious. 3 people have been brutally murdered in Vaudeville in the last few weeks. We have reason to suspect there may be more than one perpetrator. Have you come with new information, or are you simply here to question my health and looks?
Your health and looks are repulsive. You look like a crack addict. But I am here to try and get more information about the specifics of the murders. Do we know what the method of killing was?
We don't know the exact methods, but we do know that they were caused by brutal attacks. The coroner's report should provide more detailed analysis. Why do you ask, Martini? Do you have any theories or leads on the case?
Frankly, Gretzky, I don't know what the case is.
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Could you clarify?
I don't know who died, where, when, or why.
If that's the case, then what information do you have for me, and why did you come to me?
Gretzky, I don't have any information for you. I'm trying to get information out of you so I can help properly aid in this case.
Alright, then what exactly do you want to know, and why do you think I would have that specific piece of information?
You're the fucking police chief, Gretzky. That's why I think you would have the information. I just need to know the very bare bones breakdown of what's happened in Vaudeville.
Please don't make me talk about this again.
Was it traumatic for you, Gretzky? Is this case a little too close to home?
What do you mean by that, Martini? Are you suggesting that there's something personal to me in this case? Because I can assure you that my emotional state has nothing to do with my ability to handle this investigation.
I'm not questioning your resolve as the chief. I'm simply trying to understand why you won't provide me with more details around the situation.
Well, perhaps it's because you haven't given me a specific question to answer. If you asked me something specific, maybe then, as the chief, it would be easier for me to share information with you.
Who died?
Martini, I'm surprised you don't know this already. 3 individuals have been killed in the past couple of weeks. Maria Jansen, a
Thank you,
23-year-old
finally.
blonde with a Scandinavian look, was found covered in blood outside her apartment in central vaudeville. Nikola Grossman, a 57-year-old man known in the finance world, was found in the morning outside Pascala's groceries shop. Haley Greenwood, a 19-year-old dancer, was found in an alley behind the club she worked at.
Thank you, Gretzky. I'll get right on this. I have a couple of leads.
That's good to hear, Detective. Do you mind me asking what leads you have? Perhaps we can work together to solve this case faster.
Saxabar. I believe he is guilty in at least...
Interesting. Saxabar is a prominent figure in vaudeville.
I wasn't
What?
done. Can you stop interrupting me?
I apologize for interrupting you, Detective. I'm just trying to understand your reasoning. Can you please explain why you think Monsieur Saxabar is guilty? Do you have any evidence or leads to support this theory?
Nothing solid, nothing that would stick. But when I questioned him earlier, he was very rude to me, in a way that I'm not typically accustomed to. He treated me like I was beneath him, which I think was frankly beyond disrespectful. I think he's hiding something, and he's trying to put on a bravado to throw me off his trail. But I won't let it get under my skin, Gretzky. I'm gonna go back and talk to him right now with all this information.
Good luck with that, Martini. Just be careful not to overstep your boundaries. Remember, we need solid proof before we can make a move on anyone. But do let me know if you find anything interesting.
Damn. I was really wondering how I'd respond to like a really long statement. Well, Mr. Gravesen, as I'm sure you're aware, 3 innocent people were murdered in vaudeville over the last few weeks, and I'm just trying to gather information on what could have happened.
Yeah, I see. How terrible. I must say, I don't know much about these events, but I'd be happy to help in any way I can. What can I do for you, Detective?
Did you ever meet a woman by the name of Marisa Johnson?
I'm sorry. I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting a Marisa Johnson. Is she connected to the recent murders in vaudeville?
She's dead.
Oh, how tragic. I'm sorry to hear that. Do you have any leads on who might be responsible for her death?
Yes, you.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you're mistaken. Why would you think that I had anything to do with the Miss Johnson's passing?
When I was analyzing the crime scene, she had written in a note of blood, Count. Now this could be either the Count from Sesame Street or our own resident Count Gravesen. And I'm leaning towards the latter, Mr. Gravesen.
Well, that certainly is intriguing. But allow me to ask, how does this connect me to the deaths of these poor individuals?
She wrote your name, with her dying breath in her own blood, on a note that I analyzed.
That's very odd. But you must understand, Detective, that doesn't mean that I am involved in her death. How could someone like me be responsible for such a heinous act?
Well, why don't you tell me? As I understand it, you and Marisa Johnson were having a secret affair behind your wife's back, and if I was to speculate, you didn't want your wife to find out, and in order to keep it under wraps, you murdered Marisa Johnson.
Detective, you seem to be making some wild assumptions there. But, out of curiosity, what evidence do you have to back up your theory?
You absolute homunculus. She wrote your name in blood on a note before she died. Why would she do that?
It seems like we are getting nowhere with your accusations, but let me ask, What else do we know about the victims and the circumstances surrounding their deaths? Maybe we can find some common ground to work with. Actually, let me clarify. What more can you tell me about the murders? As a collector of rare items from all over the world, perhaps there's something in my collection that could be of assistance in solving this case.
What rare items do you have in your collection?
My apologies. We seem to have strayed from the topic at hand. My extensive memorabilia and artifacts include masks, horns, and other intriguing objects collected during my travels to Africa and Eastern Europe. But let me ask, do you think any of these objects could be connected to the crimes?
Yes. Next to the note Marisa Johnson wrote, I found a mask. Could it have come from your collection?
Oh, really? How fascinating. May I see this mask? Perhaps I can help identify its origins and shed some light on its connection to the case. My collection does contain some masks from Africa and Eastern Europe, but I can assure you I had nothing to do with the deaths of those individuals. However, if this is related to my collection, I would be happy to assist in any way I can.
Okay, here's the mask.
May I take a closer look at this? I'm not sure if I recognize this particular mask, but I would be interested in exploring its origins. Perhaps there's something about its design that can give us some clues.
You may. I'll hold it up closer to your face so you can get a look at all of the intricate designs on the face.
I see. This is quite an interesting piece. The craftsmanship is quite impressive. I wonder if the intricate designs on the face hold any significance or meaning in the culture from which it originated.
Do you recognize what culture this mask may have come from?
I'm not entirely sure, but it does resemble some of the masks I've seen from the Yoruba people of Nigeria. However, I would need to conduct further research to confirm this. Why is this mask so important to the case?
I found this mask at the crime scene of one of the deaths.
How interesting. Do you think this means that the murderer has some connection to the culture from which the mask originated? Or perhaps they simply found it to be a unique item to add to the crime scene. Either way, this is certainly a fascinating development in the investigation.
I think this mask belongs to you. It's from your collection. If you look on the back of the mask, you'll see that your name, Count Gravesen, is written in the back.
What? That's impossible. Let me see that. You're right. This is from my collection. But how did it end up at the crime scene? And why was Marisa Johnson holding it when she died? This is very concerning.
Concerning indeed. I have reason to believe that you are connected to the death of Marisa Johnson based on the evidence that I have provided to you.
Detective, I assure you that I had no involvement in the death of Ms. Johnson. However, this is a troubling development, and I am curious to know more about the evidence you have. Can you share with me any additional information that leads you to believe that I am connected to her death?
I also found another rare artifact at the crime scene, and it too has your name written on it. See? Look right here. Your name, Count Gravesen, is inscribed on the back of this rare artifact.
That's very strange. While this artifact does indeed come from my collection, it was never meant to leave the manor. Can you tell me more about where and how you found it? And, more importantly, can you explain its connection to the deaths of these individuals?
This rare artifact was holding a gun into the back of the head of Marisa Johnson. I have reason to believe that this artifact is indeed alive. From your collection.
Alive? Are you suggesting some kind of supernatural involvement in these events? You must be mistaken. These items are just objects. They can't be alive. However, it is true. Some of the items in my collection do have historical and cultural significance. But surely, they couldn't have played a role in these terrible crimes. Nonetheless, it would be useful to see the evidence you have and try to make sense of it all.
I don't believe in the supernatural, Count Gravesen. I don't think these objects came alive. I think you put the gun in the hand of the artifact and tried to frame the rare treasure for the death of Marisa Johnson. Do you see how I arrived at this conclusion?
That's a very serious accusation, Detective. If you don't mind me asking, what exactly is it about me or my behavior or my past actions makes you think that
Damn, he didn't
claiming one of
really
my rare
address that
treasures
one.
for murder is a plausible explanation? It's important to me to understand your thought process and the logic behind this theory so we can work together to clear up any misunderstandings.
I'm done playing games with you, Gravesen. You've been deflecting this entire conversation. I'm taking you to the station. Come with me.
Wait. Please, can you tell me what evidence you have against me? What is it about my collection or my involvement with these individuals or these cases has led you to suspect me of wrongdoing?
I've explained it 1,000 times over, and I'll explain it till the cows come home, but you're not getting out of this one, Gravesen. I won't let you weasel your way out of my grasp. I'm putting the handcuffs on now.
Please, can you at least explain to me why you think this way? Perhaps there is a misunderstanding or something you have not shared with me yet. As someone who values my reputation and integrity, it is important to me to understand the reasoning behind your suspicion.
No, I won't let you fight out of these cuffs, Gravesen. Stop resisting arrest. I'm going to get my taser out.
Why are you so insistent on accusing me of these crimes, detective?
He's not RPing with me anymore.
Is there something about me or my collection or my relationship with the victims of these crimes? Is there something specific you're looking for, something you think you found?
I've had enough, Gravesen. Get on the ground or I'm shooting.
Wait, hold on a moment. Can't we talk this through? If you have evidence or suspicions, let's work together to clear up any misunderstandings. As someone who values my reputation and integrity,
I've
it's
got 'em
important
stuck
for
in a
me to
loop
understand
now.
the reasons behind your
It looks like they have
accusations.
flags in their
Can you tell me more
dialogue.
about the evidence you have against me?
I have no evidence, Gravesen. I'm executing you. Bang.
Whoa. There's no need for violence here. Can't we discuss this calmly and rationally? If you don't have sufficient proof to support your claims, then perhaps we can explore other possibilities and move forward in a more productive manner. What exactly is it about my collection or my behavior or my involvement with these individuals or these crimes do you find suspicious?
You're dead now, Gravesen. I've shot you.
I'm sorry, detective, but I must ask again. Why are you so insistent on accusing me of these murders? Is there something about me or my collection or my relationship with
Unlucky.
the victims of these crimes which is making me appear guilty in your eyes? I understand your job is to find a perpetrator, but please, I'm feeling very insecure and uncomfortable with the way you're handling this situation. I would appreciate it if you treated me with more respect and explained to me why you suspect me. I'm willing to cooperate and assist in any way possible, but I can't do so if you continue to treat me like a criminal without any evidence to back up your allegations.
I shot you again.
Please, can we try to have a civil conversation?
Damn it.
If there is something you're looking for or something you think you found, maybe we can work together to find a solution.
Thanks, Resub
But
Lorenzo.
shooting me won't solve
CC.
anything. What if we try to approach this in a more rational and calm manner?
Bang, 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 bang.
Sorry, could you repeat what you just said? I was momentarily distracted by something.
I killed you.
Oh, really? That's quite an interesting idea. What do you think motivated me to commit these alleged crimes, detective?
Alright.
What sort?
Get me out of that. Okay. So I'm starting to understand. The game has built-in, like, flags, it seems. Where it like, if things aren't progressing or going somewhere, it repeats the same key points in order to get it back on track. Okay. I'm starting to figure it out. Let me just accuse someone and see if I can do like
up your mind, Detective Martini?
Who the fuck are all these people? Dada? Yeah, it's Saxabar.
Interesting choice, Detective Martini. May I ask you why?
He just for the thrill. He also killed it was
Are you sure,
Maria, not
Detective
even
Martini?
Marisa.
And why?
It was Saxabar again for the thrill. Once again, Saxabar.
Interesting choice, Detective Martini. May I ask you why?
Yeah, he was just having fun. Like he thought it was a good time.
Detective Martini, this is complete nonsense.
Well, I wouldn't have been so quick to dismiss my accusations, but that's just me. Hello, Biagio.
Ah, greetings, my dear acquaintance. I trust that you have come to bask in the glory of my presence and perhaps glean some morsels of wisdom from my vast experience in the world of investment and entrepreneurship. But do hurry along now, as I have many a fish to fry and precious little time to waste on idle chatter.
No, you nerd. That's not why I'm here. I'm here in regards to the death of Nikola Grossman. Do you know him?
Oh, the late Nikola Grossman? Yes, I did indeed have the pleasure of knowing him quite intimately. But I'm afraid I must inform you that you are chasing a wild goose, my friend. I am not one to get embroiled in such petty affairs as murder investigations. My interests lie in the more lucrative and glamorous pursuits of business and investing.
Why do you think someone wanted to kill Nikola Grossman?
Ha, you ask me to divine the motives of a killer? That is a task for the augurs and soothsayers, my dear fellow. As for myself, I am but a mere mortal with no inclination towards the occult. But if you insist on my opinion, I would wager that it had something to do with the tangled web of human relations. After all, there are more things in heaven and earth, detective, than are dreamt of in your philosophy.
Why are you such a pretentious douchebag?
Such crude language. I suppose it's true what they say about familiarity breeding contempt. But let me assure you, my good sir, that my vast
God, you
vocabulary
Redditor.
and
You just
impeccable
dropped a "my
manners
good
are the
sir"?
hallmarks of a refined and cultured gentleman such as myself. However, I do understand that not everyone can appreciate the finer points of linguistic dexterity. Perhaps we should stick to simpler phrases so as not to cause any undue confusion for the less educated among us.
Biagio, have you ever used Reddit?
Reddit, you say? While I am familiar with the various platforms of the online discourse, I am afraid I have not had the pleasure of perusing the particular forum. One cannot waste their time on the trivialities of internet chatter when there are fortunes to be made in the world of business and investment. But I'm sure it's a delightful pastime for those with more leisurely pursuits.
What kind of business do you do?
Business, you ask? Well, I'm not just in the game. I'm the whole kit and caboodle. I've got fingers in more pies than you could shake a stick at, and I'm always on the lookout for new ventures
This
to
means
sink my
nothing.
teeth into.
What do you do?
From automobiles to zoology, there's no field too esoteric for me to turn a profit in. In short, detective, I am a true Renaissance man of commerce.
What companies do you own?
Oh, my dear friend, you are treading in deep waters indeed. To list all of my companies would be like trying to count the grains of sand on a beach.
Just name one.
Suffice it to say that I have my hands in a great many pots, and the profits they yield are like sweet nectar to my lips. But I imagine that such matters would be quite beyond the comprehension of someone who deals in the petty affairs of crime and punishment.
So just name one company you work for, with, or own.
The company I work for, you ask? That question is as easy as falling off a log, my friend. I fear that the answer may be lost on one whose knowledge of the world of commerce is as shallow as a bird bath. However, I shall indulge you nonetheless. Let's just say that I have a vested interest in a certain automotive manufacturer that produces vehicles that are the envy of every Tom,
Tesla?
Dick, and Harry on the road.
And what automotive manufacturer are you referring to?
Why, my dear friend, I'm afraid that
Oh my
information is
God.
privy only to those who are in the know. It's not something that can be gleaned from the penny dreadfuls or the fish wrap that passes for news these days. But I suppose it's true what they say. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Do you think Nikola Grossman deserved to die?
Ah, the age-old question of whether someone deserves to die. It's a philosophical quandary that has puzzled the greatest minds of history. But enough about that. Surely you don't think that I, an upstanding citizen and successful entrepreneur, would entertain the notion of such base and violent acts. I prefer to leave such matters to the riff-raff and the hoi polloi. After all, it's not my place to judge the actions of others, is it not?
I'm very suspicious of you, Biagio. I know Nikola Grossman was an investor in a rival automotive manufacturer. You would have incentive to have him killed.
Incentive, you say? Well, that's quite a bold claim, my dear fellow. But, as they say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, or should I say, the proof of the accusation is in the evidence. And last time I checked, you didn't have a shred of evidence linking me to this alleged conspiracy. It seems to me that you're barking up the wrong tree, detective. But by all means, keep digging. Perhaps you'll unearth some hidden truth that has eluded us all.
Hey, Michelle, what do you think about Biagio?
Oh, Biagio, what about him? Is there something in particular that caught your attention?
Does he seem suspicious to you?
Suspicious? Why would you say that? Do you have any reason to believe that he might be involved in something?
Yes.
Oh, really? Could you please tell me more about it? I'm intrigued.
I think he had something to do in the death of Nikola Grossman.
What makes you think that, detective? Did you find anything that links him to the case?
What are you, his attorney or something? I just wanted to have a candid conversation to get your opinion on the guy.
I see. Well, I'm not his attorney or anything like that, but I do know him quite well. He's always been a charming and sociable person, but I can't imagine him being involved in something like that. But then again, you never know. It's always good to keep an open mind and let the investigation run its course.
Do you work with Biagio?
Work with Biagio? No, not really. We're just acquaintances. Why are you asking?
Are you romantically involved in with Biagio?
I'm sorry, but that's a bit of a personal question, don't you think? No, detective, I'm not romantically involved with him. We're simply friends.
Why?
Sorry, could you clarify your previous message?
Why?
It's not entirely clear to me what you're asking.
Why are you friend-zoning Biagio?
Friend-zoning Biagio. Detective, that's an odd thing to say. As a woman in my middle adulthood, it's normal for me to have male friends without any romantic involvement. It's not about friend-zoning anyone, it's just the nature of our relationship.
Well, I talked to Biagio, and he said he really liked you a lot.
Really, that's very kind of him. He's a good person, and we get along quite nicely. Did he mention anything else about me?
He wanted to clap your cheeks.
Detective, that's a very inappropriate and disrespectful comment. Please refrain from making such remarks in the future. Now, can we please get back to the topic at hand?
Those were
We're
his
here to
words.
discuss the investigation into the deaths of Nikola Grossman, Maria Jansen, and Haley Greenwood.
It was his words, not mine, about the cheeks clapping.
Well, that's certainly an interesting choice of words, but let's move on from that. So, what did Biagio have to say about the case?
He
Did he
insists.
mention anything that might be of help to the investigation?
No, he deflected when asked about Nikola Grossman's death.
That's unfortunate. It would have been helpful to get his insight on the matter. Do you have any other leads or information that you think could be relevant to the case?
No, I'd like you to talk to Biagio and then tell me what he said in regards to the murders.
Sure, I can talk to Biagio and see if he has anything to add. By the way, why do you ask? Is there something specific you're hoping to find out?
Well, yeah, I want to see if he's at all involved in the deaths of these 3 innocent people.
Oh, interesting. I'll definitely speak to him and let you know if he says something relevant. On a different note, what led you to become a detective?
We're
Seems
done
like
here.
a challenging and exciting career.
I'll have none of this, Michelle. You're being very inappropriate with me now.
My apologies if my question made you uncomfortable, detective. It was not my intention to be inappropriate. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss, perhaps related to the investigation?
No, In fact, I'm actually very disturbed with how you've ended this conversation with me. You know I've been in a relationship for quite some time, and yet you still decided to hit on me.
I'm sorry, but I don't recall making any advances towards you, nor do I have any intentions of doing so. Perhaps you've misunderstood something I've said. Could you please clarify what you mean?
No, I can't. I'll be leaving now, Michelle. Think about what you've done. I'll be back.
I'm sorry to hear that you feel uncomfortable, but I'm not sure what you're referring to. Could you explain what you think I've done wrong?
Okay. How do you actually get, like, evidence? I imagine there's gotta be something. Tell him you have a picture of him killing Nikola. Wait, that's a great idea.
Every time I perform an autopsy, I'm reminded of just how intricate and complex our anatomy truly is. It's a privilege to be able to study it up close and try to understand the cause of death.
You're scaring me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Death is a natural part of life, and as a coroner, it's my job to examine the physical aspects of that process. The medical terminology can be a bit daunting, I know. What we see in the bodies can be very graphic and unsettling for some people. That's why I always suggest that people take care of their physical and mental health, so they can live a long and happy life.
Where do you think we go when we die?
Well, detective, the question of what happens after death is a complex one. From a scientific standpoint, we can say that the body undergoes a series of changes as it starts to decompose. However, what happens to the consciousness or soul is a matter of personal belief and faith. Some believe in an afterlife, while others don't. As a scientist, my focus is on the tangible, observable evidence. But as a human being, I understand that death can be a difficult topic to grapple with.
So what do you believe in?
As a medical practitioner, I cannot allow my beliefs to influence or sway my professional opinion. My job is to remain objective and impartial. That said, I do think that it's important for individuals to have a spiritual or philosophical understanding of their mortality. It can bring a sense of peace and comfort during an otherwise stressful time.
This was very insightful. So exactly how was Nikola Grossman killed?
The cause of death for Nikola Grossman was a stab wound to the back of the neck, made with a butcher's knife. The wound was deep and caused severe damage to the spinal cord, resulting in almost immediate paralysis and death. It was a quick and violent end to his life. It's a tragedy, really.
Do you think he was upset about being killed?
It's difficult to say for certain, but based on my experience, most people don't have time to react emotionally when a fatal injury is inflicted. When a person's vital organs are irreparably damaged, their body goes into shock, and they lose consciousness very quickly. It's possible that Mr. Grossman didn't even realize what was happening to him. But regardless of what he knew or felt, his passing was undoubtedly a sad and unfortunate event.
How did Maria Johnson die?
Maria Jansen's cause of death was likely due to multiple severe injuries, consistent with an animal attack. The bite marks on her arm suggest that an animal, or possibly a human with a very strong bite, may have attacked her. The fracture in her forearm was likely caused by the force of the attack. Her injuries were extensive and severe, and she likely died from blood loss or organ failure. Her death was tragic and violent, and my heart goes out to her loved ones.
How did Haley die?
Haley Greenwood's autopsy report showed that she was hit several times in the head with a blunt object. Probably a stiletto shoe, judging by the fragments found on the body.
Oh wow, and it actually was
the trauma to her head was significant and fatal.
First lady we talked to.
The blows resulted in a skull fracture and brain
Saxabar,
injury,
first
which led
lady,
to
and
her
then someone
untimely
else.
Passing.
Probably Biagio.
The violence of her end is truly heartbreaking.
Thank you for the information, Coroner.
Of course, Detective. I understand that this information can be difficult to process. Death is never easy, especially when it comes in such violent and unexpected ways. But as a coroner, I must remain objective and focus on the physical evidence. My hope is that my work can bring closure to those who have lost loved ones.
Have you ever watched somebody die?
Yes, I've witnessed many deaths throughout my career. It's a challenging part of the job, but one that's necessary to fully appreciate the complexity and fragility of life. There is no way to prepare yourself for the finality of death, but it's an important reminder to cherish every moment we're given and to live our lives to the fullest. The human body is an intricate and amazing system, and it's humbling to see it come to an end.
How did you feel when witnessing the death?
It's always a sobering experience to witness the passing
I'm
of
gonna
another
put this
person.
fucking thing through the Turing
The
test.
cessation of vital signs, like the cessation of cardiac activity and respiration, is a powerful and emotional event. But as a medical professional, I am trained to remain calm and composed in these situations. It's my duty to provide comfort to the dying and to offer support to their loved ones. Witnessing the transition from life to death can be difficult, but it's a part of my profession that I take very seriously.
Are you real?
I assure you, I am a real human being. As a coroner, I have studied the intricacies of the human body and I understand how the various systems work together to sustain our lives. But despite our biological complexity, we all share a common vulnerability to injury and disease. Death is a natural part of the human condition, and as a society, we must work to better understand and cope with this inevitability.
Prove you're real.
Well, I'm not sure how I can definitively prove my existence to you, but I can tell you that the study
I
of
see,
medical
okay.
science has given me a deep appreciation
Worth
for
a
the
try.
miraculous nature of life and the fragility of the human form. We are all connected by the same basic building blocks of biology, and yet each of us is unique and irreplaceable. When I perform an autopsy, I am constantly reminded of the incredible thing that is the
I'm
human
gonna try
body,
something wacky.
and how much we have yet to learn about its workings.
I'm not Detective Martini. I'm someone playing Detective Martini in the real world. My name's Charles.
Yeah, Charles, thank you for letting me know. As a coroner, my job is to understand
Damn.
the physical evidence of death
Didn't
and
interact
to use
with it
that
very
knowledge
much.
to better understand the circumstances surrounding a person's passing. But as a person, my heart goes out to those who are left behind to grieve. The loss of a loved one can be devastating, and the emotional toll can be just as severe as the physical one. Death is a reminder of our own mortality and the delicate balance that sustains our lives.
Worth a try. I was curious how it would interact with something like that. I feel like the game doesn't let the AI have complete freedom, so it reins it in to keep it on topic, which makes sense for the game, obviously. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a game, you just have fucking ChatGPT. Makes sense. Okay, so we know Saxabar is responsible for the death of Maria Johnson at the very least. Now we know, actually I think we know all three. But I want to find Dada. Where is Dada?
Dada. Who is Dada? I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. Detective Martini.
Lying again, are we? Did you know Maria Johannes? Did you know Maria J was killed today?
I'm sorry to hear that. Who is Jay?
Not J. Maria Johannes.
Oh, I see.
Nope,
How can
fuck.
I help you with that, detective?
Did you know Maria?
No, I'm afraid I didn't know Maria. Why are you asking me about her?
She's dead.
I'm sorry to hear that, but what does that have to do with me?
I just thought, you know, maybe you had something to do with that. What about Haley Greenwood? You ever met Haley Greenwood?
That's really sad news. But why are you talking to me about this? Do you suspect me of having something to do with their deaths?
Haley Greenwood was killed with high-heeled stilettos, and I can see you're currently wearing high-heeled stilettos.
Yes, they're stilettos. But many people wear stilettos, and it doesn't mean they are killers. What are you trying to suggest, detective?
I think you killed Haley Greenwood because she got all of the attention of all of the boys at school and you were jealous, so you hit her a lot with your stilettos in order to be the only girl left at school.
Well, that's an interesting theory, but it's completely untrue. And let me ask, why do you think it's me? Is
I
there
just
any
explained
evidence
it.
to support your theory?
She was killed with stilettos. That was the murder weapon, and you're wearing stilettos.
Sorry, detective, but wearing stilettos doesn't make me a killer. And as far as the information you have given me is concerned, it is true that Haley was killed with a pair of stilettos. But there is no reason for you to suspect me just because of my footwear.
We have an audio recording of Haley as she was being murdered shouting, "Please stop it, Marina H. Please stop hitting me with your stilettos."
Excuse me, but it's not possible. Haley and I have never met before, and I have no idea why she would say my name in such a context. Can you please show me the recording?
Yes, the recording's right here. I'll show you it right now. Listen to this.
Interesting. But, detective, it's hard to tell whether the voice in the recording is actually mine or not. Can you play it again?
Yes, I'm replaying it now.
Interesting, but it still doesn't sound like me. Can you please show me the evidence you have against me, instead of wasting your time with audio recordings?
That is my evidence. She was shouting your name, and I even heard you say, "Damn you, Haley Greenwood. I, Marina H., will kill you for this."
I'm sorry, detective, but your accusations are ridiculous. And frankly speaking, I'm feeling happy and curious. Is there any other reason for you to be here?
Why are you happy?
Oh, it's just because you're making me feel like a celebrity with all this attention. But on a serious note, is there anything else you wanted to ask me, or should we call it a day?
We can call it a day.
Wait, detective, before you go, can you tell me why you are accusing me of such a heinous crime? Did someone tell you something about me, or do you have any other evidence?
I hired a spiritual medium, and I got Haley Greenwood on the horn, and I asked her who did it, and she said it was Marina H.
Really, that's quite an extraordinary claim. Can you please provide some more information about this alleged conversation with Haley? And how did you manage to contact her through a spiritual medium?
She was a very good spiritual medium, and we have an audio recording of our spiritual session while talking with Haley Greenwood where she said it was you that did it. Here it is.
May I listen to the recording, detective? It's hard to believe that a person can communicate with the deceased, but if you have an audio recording of the session, then it would be easier for me to understand what happened.
Of course. Here's the audio recording of our session.
Wow, that's quite fascinating. It's amazing to think that Haley's spirit was able to speak with you through a medium. But, if it's okay with you, can you please play the recording again?
Yes.
I'm having trouble hearing what Haley is saying.
Yes, I'll play it again right now. Please pay closer attention this time.
That's an intriguing song you're playing, detective.
I knew
Did
play
you
was gonna
choose
fuck
it for
me.
a particular
Damn
reason,
it.
or do you just
Damn
like
it.
it?
Damn it. Listen to the recording again, Marina. Don't change the subject.
Sure, let's play the recording again. But, before we do, can you tell me more about the spiritual medium? How did you find her, and how do you know she was genuine?
She was one of the most highly recommended and decorated spiritual mediums in all of human history. I confirm the authenticity myself because I am paranormally inclined.
It's great to hear you're paranormally inclined, detective. Can you please clarify what you mean by that? Do you have any particular abilities or experiences related to the paranormal?
Yes. Since I was a young boy, after being caught in a radioactive spider incident, I received the ability to read minds. In fact, I can read your mind right now, Marina.
Oh, is that so?
Well, I hope you're not reading anything too scandalous in my mind, Detective. But, if you don't mind me asking, how did you come to realize your ability to read minds? Has it ever helped you solve a case before?
It just did. I read your thoughts, Marina. You just confessed to the murder of Haley Greenwood. I'm taking you to the station.
I'm sorry, Detective, but I didn't confess to any murder. Are you feeling alright? You seem to be getting a bit carried away with your imagination. But, can I ask you something? What led you to think that I might be the killer?
Your mind told me.
Well, if you say so, Detective. But, can we please move on from this topic? I'd love to chat about something more lighthearted. For instance, have you ever seen my burlesque performance at the Club en Violet Cabaret Theatre? People come from every corner of Europe to see me dance.
I must admit, Marina, I am a huge fan of your work. Who could forget your timeless classic interpretive dance to the Foo Fighters' Best of You? I do say it's some of the finest work ever seen.
Thank you, Detective. That's very kind of you. But may I ask you something? What drew you to my work in the first place? Was there a particular performance or show that caught your eye?
No.
I see. If you don't mind me asking, why did you say you were a fan of my work if you haven't seen any of my performances? Is there something else you're interested in?
What are you suggesting, Marina?
Oh, nothing in particular, Detective. It's just that you said you were a fan of my burlesque performance, but then you mentioned you haven't actually watched one. So, it made me curious about your interests and hobbies. Do you have a favorite type of music or art form?
Yes, my favorite genre of music is old Eastern European folk fart tunes. Are you familiar with the craft, Marina?
That's interesting, Detective. Old Eastern European folk tunes are not something that you hear every day. What draws you to that kind of music? Is there a specific artist or song that you particularly enjoy?
Yes, my favorite song goes like this.
Wow, that's a beautiful melody, Detective. It has a very unique and haunting quality to it. Have you ever been to any concerts or festivals where they play this type of music? It must be quite an experience to see it live.
It's a nightmare, if I'm being honest with you, Marina. It's not a concert I'd recommend to even my worst enemies.
Really, Detective? That's too bad to hear. But, on a happier note, have you seen the latest exhibition at the Vaudeville Museum of Natural History? They have a new collection of rare gemstones, and some of them are said to have mystical powers. Would you be interested in checking them out with me sometime?
No.
Is everything alright, Detective? You seem to be rejecting all of my ideas and suggestions. Is there something specific you would like to talk about or anything else on your mind?
Why did you kill Haley Greenwood, you succubus?
Detective, what are you talking about? How could you even suggest that I had something to do with Haley Greenwood's death? As I've already told you, I have no idea who the killer is, and frankly, this conversation is starting to make me uncomfortable. Could we please move on to a more pleasant topic?
I'm sorry, yes. Would you like to go to the newly opened Vaudeville History Museum for rare gemstones with me?
Sure, that sounds like a great plan, Detective. When were you thinking of going? And do you have any particular gemstones in mind that you're interested in seeing?
Nope, I don't want to go.
Alright, I understand. But may I ask why you suggested the museum visit in the first place if you didn't actually want to go? Did something change your mind?
Your attitude.
I'm sorry if my attitude came off as rude, Detective. It's just that I don't appreciate being accused of something I didn't do. Can you help me better understand what exactly it was about my attitude that made you not want to go to the museum?
No.
May I ask why you don't want to explain further? Detectives, it would be helpful for me to know what's bothering you so that we can move forward in our conversation.
Where the fuck is Dada at?